Hey guys, it's Jennifer and Byron, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick update about how the move is going, where we are, what's going on, all the things. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I am currently filming in our third, technically, Airbnb. So the first one that we were in did not work out. It had some issues and some things going on that I really don't want to rehash and relive through because it was not a very fun experience. But we spent 2 weeks there, and then we had to move to another Airbnb. And so we spent a couple of weeks there, and now we are in our third one, and we are going to be here for a month. And we may or may not have to go to Airbnb number 4, number 5, number 6. We don't know. So to give you a little update about kind of just the overall move, well, I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me just kind of stay on the Airbnb situation for a second. So we did find a house that we loved, and we put an offer in. So we actually have had kind of a situation with that as well. The first house that I felt completely and totally in love with. It was amazing, everything I wanted. We put an offer in. And we did negotiate back and forth for a bit, and she went a bit higher than we were originally expecting that we would go. Because of that, it kind of raised our spidey sense a little bit, and we didn't feel so great about it. And we started to do a bit more research in the area, in the house. It was a grade 2 listed, so, and everything that entails. And I don't know, all I can say to you guys is that we both kind of had this feeling that something wasn't quite right. Something just did not feel right. So the date after we had the offer accepted, we hadn't put down any earnest money or deposit money or anything. And the way the housing purchasing process works in the UK, which is very confusing, you can pull out at any time. So we did the next day pull out of that deal, which also didn't feel great to us because, you know, we had agreed on a price, we had agreed to buy it, and I know that technically we were allowed to, but there was also some things about the property that we felt like we had been misled concerning that once we started doing all that research, we were like, actually, this is not what we were told. This is not what the owner told us. So I don't know. We felt really sort of weird about it. And I have to say, if she had taken our first offer and not really tried to push for more and more money, we would have actually felt pretty good about it. And I don't think we would have went digging for those other things. So it's actually better because I don't think that was our right property. I will say since then, that property has since dropped 20 grand from where it was listed. So I think there is actually something a little weird about that property. Something going on. I'm not sure. The second property was actually a house that we looked at in May. When we first came down in May to look at like where we wanted to live and what area we wanted to be in, we actually went through and looked at this house. And at the time, the current owners were still living in it. And I don't know, like at that point, I had not seen enough properties in the area. I had not seen enough properties for various prices in various neighborhoods to really hone in on what we wanted at that time. So it wasn't a house that I was particularly excited about. It also has some pretty unique challenges that were going to be an interesting challenges to solve. Now look, whenever you buy a house, no matter where the house is, no matter where you're purchasing, that's Alex, by the way, he is working. But wherever you buy a house, there are going to be certain concessions that you have to make. There are going to be certain compromises. I know that. I've purchased several houses now as an adult, and I understand that. But then there's other things that you feel like are things you just kind of can't get past. And when we first looked at that house, I felt like there were too many things that I couldn't get past. They weren't concessions I was ready to make at that time. Fast forward, we probably looked at like, I don't know, close to 20 houses or something. And we looked at this house again, which was now empty and chain-free. We are chain-free because we sold our house in America. So we went back and looked at it again. And when it was empty, it was just all of those things that I was a bit worried about. It was much easier to see how we were going to meet those challenges, particularly about space and layout and how we would put, you know, the way that we want to live, how we would set that up in that space. So I've always been told that an empty house is like the worst way to show a house, but I just really tend to disagree. Seeing that house empty really allowed me to see my own use of that space. And I got excited about that house then. So then we put in an offer The seller accepted our offer, and he and his family, whoever lived there, they have already moved out. So it is chain free. That makes us chain free, the house chain free. It was a great deal. So that we got our sale acceptance letter on August 15th. As of filming this, it is the 1st of September. We have zero ideas of when we're going to close on that house, or the house is going to convey, or the sale is going to go through and we're going to get keys. We have zero ideas as to when that is going to happen. Here's what we know and where we are in the process. We have done a survey, which in the US is called a housing inspection. We have done that. The things that the survey found, the owner has already addressed those. We are going for I'm going to call it a final walkthrough, although I don't know if that equates to the same. But in the US, you do a final walkthrough, usually like a day or two before you close on the house. But we're going to do a final walkthrough to make sure that all of those repair things were fixed. I don't know if there's another walkthrough because I really don't know this process. My husband has also never purchased a house in the UK, so he really doesn't know this process. So we're trying to navigate it as we go. But our mortgage has already done the appraisal, which in the UK is called a valuation. And we are supposed to be getting that tidied up in the next day or two, and then that should be done. So at this point, we have a solicitor. The seller has a solicitor, or attorney, as we would say in the US. And you don't have a buyer's agent in the UK. Only the seller has an agent. And very few things at this point seem apparently to go through that seller's agent. It all goes through solicitors. So we have zero idea where we are in the process. Our solicitor has not expressed that to us. I don't think that she knows at this point, because what they do is they do all these searches, title land searches, make sure any add-ons or building permits and inspections were done the correct way. And apparently this takes weeks, but we have no idea. We have no idea how long. So we don't know if we'll be going to another Airbnb. We don't know if it'll be ready after this Airbnb. We have no idea. So then let me back up from that just a little bit and talk about the dogs and getting the dogs over and that experience. So they did really, really well in their travel. They did really well. I was really proud of them. The only time they kind of had a complete meltdown was when we flew into Amsterdam and took a ferry from Amsterdam over to England. And we had to put them in a kennel on the ferry because they didn't have any dog-friendly rooms. That was the only time, like, they both kind of had a complete freak out. Up until then, they were like, we're with you, we're with our people, we don't know where we're going, we don't know what's happening, but it's cool, we trust you, wherever you're going, that's where we're going. Gigi had flown quite a bit. Byron had never flown. So, and he also has recently been diagnosed with glaucoma, so he also has some vision loss, so we just really didn't know how he would do. But they did really well until the kennel, and then there was just a total freak out meltdown. And we were able to get them calm, and then that was rough. When we got here, Byron settled in very well, very easily. He's loving going on walks in the park. He loves going on walks through town. He loves being able to sit in like the pub and like the beer garden and sit outdoors. He loves it. Gigi has had a little bit of a tougher time adjusting, which is really surprising to me, because she has traveled more and I thought she would just be really chill and really cool. But she had some gastrointestinal upset for the first couple weeks that we were here. And it wasn't new food or anything, because we had taken a bag of food with us last time to get them accustomed to the new food. It wasn't water per se, because we were giving them only bottled water. Just because we are in an area that has really, really hard water. So we just wanted to give them some bottled water to kind of minimize the effects of the hard water. But I think it was genuinely stress. I think she was like, this place is not the places that I know. And when we stayed here for a bit longer than she was expecting, I think she realized that this could be a more permanent move. And, you know, maybe I'm really just giving her way too much credit about this, but this is how it felt to me, was that she kind of realized that it wasn't as temporary as she was expecting it, because we've always gone for her like a week or so on travel and then we go back home. Everything felt just different enough for her to know something was askew, and it took her a little bit longer to settle down, for her tummy to calm down. But she is doing great now. She seems genuinely very happy. She is also loving going on walks. She loves going through town because everybody just really loves how well dressed she is. And so she's made people very happy when she's on her little town strolls. So she's doing really well now. So they're doing great. As far as how I'm doing and acclimating and adjusting in a new country and a new culture and environment, it is really, really bizarre because it still feels like vacation at this point. I imagine that this is a little bit, my husband and I were talking about this last night, maybe people who have like the nomad visa, maybe this is what it feels like to them. It still feels like, you know, bouncing especially from Airbnb to Airbnb. It feels like I'm on vacation, and it's been pretty amazing. I mean, you've seen through my videos, and if you haven't, please check those out. Some of the areas that I've been to and been exploring, which has been really fun and really amazing. But it doesn't feel permanent yet. It doesn't feel secure yet. It doesn't feel stable yet. And I think getting a house, being able to move into a house, being able to establish a routine, being able to see my stuff, all of that will really help a lot. Now, speaking of seeing my stuff, so we are shipping our things, and we don't know where that process is at the moment either. We have no idea. We have paid to move them out of storage and have them shipped over. That has not happened yet. It was supposed to happen last week. It hasn't happened yet. We do not have a timeline. I think it's like 6 to 10 weeks once it actually gets on the ship and in the water, but we don't have that information yet. And I don't know why. I don't know if that's because there are currently some bans about shipping stuff to the US because of tariffs, and I don't know if that's affecting things coming via ship the other way as well. I have no idea. So we're kind of chasing that down at the moment, trying to figure out when is our stuff going to ship. So we're still very much in a place of just figuring it out, and it has been, it has felt like an adventure so far, but not necessarily in the way that we expected, just because I really am looking forward to getting a bit of stability. I really love an adventure, and I can't wait to have an adventure, but I'd like to know that I have a home base. To me, that is really making a very big difference in my overall acclimation. So hopefully we can get our house purchased soon. And, you know, chain free, we were told that that could possibly happen in 2 months, but we're thinking now that's probably going to be closer to 3 months. And just to give my British friends a little bit of comparison or some background information there, in the US, it is very atypical for a house to take longer than a month to sell. So the day that you get an offer accepted, you typically get your keys 1 month later. I know there are exceptions to that, but generally that's the way that it goes. So to go from a situation where houses turn over very quickly to a maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, like it's a little bit kind of discerning. And you know, I think it's different also if you are in a house and you're purchasing another house, because you kind of have the stability of already being in your house. But when we're just kind of, and yes, we could go stay with Alex's parents. That is always an option, but they are several hours away from where we're purchasing a house. So it's not the easiest place to stay while we're trying to handle business and do the business side of getting a house here. So that's also been a bit of a challenge. But I just want to end this video on a couple of reflections about my thoughts just being here so far. England is amazing. It's amazing. I can start to see a little bit of the kind of political drama and stuff that's happening here. You don't see any of that sort of stuff from the outside, but since I've been here, there's been a little bit of, you know, drama about the flag and putting the flags in certain places and what that means and the connotations and stuff. So I've kind of been watching that and just kind of seeing that play out. And obviously immigration is a thing everywhere. But those are things that I would not have necessarily known before being in the environment. Having said all of that, this country is so amazing. The weather's been really wonderful so far. That doesn't mean it will always be this great, but so far the weather's been really wonderful. But the food, oh my gosh, I don't know where that stereotype ever came from of England having bad food. The food's been amazing since we've been here. I have not had a want for different food. Like, the food has been so good. Somebody even asked me the other day, like, oh, don't you miss food from home? And I'm like, I mean, not right now, because the food has been so good. Pizza in the UK, and again, as a gluten-free person, gluten-free pizza in the UK, you guys are doing it so right. Loving, I know it sounds so basic, but we've been having some pretty fancy specialty pizzas that we found out and about in various places. Very impressive. Amazing. So the food is so good. And also just the regular home British food, your fish and chips, your pies, your roasts, your sausages, just really amazing, the food. people have been so nice to me, and this was something I was a bit worried about as, you know, an immigrant and also an American coming in. Like, you're always concerned about how will the place that I'm moving to make me feel or accept me, how will I feel in that place. People have been so wonderful and so nice, and it's been great. We did buy a car, so we have purchased a car, so that was our first sort of big purchase milestone. I will say, like, the hardest struggle that I've had so far is, well, two things. I still have not gotten a job. I have been trying. I've submitted a lot of applications, probably like 50 to 60-ish applications at this point. I've gotten one job interview, which is coming up in a couple weeks. So I haven't gotten a job yet. That seems to be a struggle that is a bit more universal in the UK right now than just for me. So I'm not sure, you know, what that struggle is going to look like long term, but also I don't have a house at the moment, so I'm not super panicky about that yet because I'd like to be settled before ideally I would start a career. But the biggest other struggle that I've had is trying to find a filter coffee machine because everything is very espresso based. And I found one and I purchased it, and it was very expensive. My American friends, you would not believe, I'm talking in the hundreds for a filter coffee machine, but it is top notch. It is amazing. It is wonderful. My in-laws gave me a gift certificate for my birthday, which was a couple weeks ago. So that went towards that, and it is amazing. So that was kind of like, so far, my biggest challenge, besides navigating through the house process also. But I did finally find the coffee machine, and it's really good. But yeah, I love England so far. I think I'm going to be very happy here. I really love this country, and I really love the people in this country, and I really love the culture of this country. People have such a wonderful sense of humor. People are just really warm. I love the pub culture. I love that there are social gathering places where people get to hang out and laugh. And I just love that. Like, I've never grown up in a culture or a climate where there's social gathering places. I've also never been in a pedestrian society, and being able, I have walked so much, guys. Like, there was one day I walked 17 miles around Oxford. Like, it is so nice to be able to get to places with my own two legs and just be able to walk everywhere. So I have really loved that. Really love the pedestrian society. Love public transportation. I've also never been in a culture or climate with a train or bus system or anything, and it's amazing. So far, I really, really, really do love it here, and I think I'm going to be very happy here. I just really can't wait to get settled so that I can start to build my own routine and get a job and just, you know, feel a bit more sense of belonging. Because like I said, I do feel still very kind of, you know, dust in the wind at this point. So that's it for me. This is going to be a very long video, but I did want to take the time to give everybody an update and kind of let you know where we are and what's happening in the process and stuff. Hopefully the next time I do one of these, I'll have a house. That's my hope. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about the experience. I can always do a video later and answer them, or maybe do a Q&A if you have some questions or whatever. So let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hope everybody's doing great. Bye.